There is a type of grief that therapists, healers, that we see all the time, right? But people, they don't talk about it nearly enough, I don't think. It's called ambiguous loss. And it's one of the hardest one of the hardest forms of grief for the nervous system to process, because most grief has a storyline. Something ended, something was said, something was explained. Like, even when it hurts, the brain at least has a chapter ending. But ambiguous loss, holy shit, that's when the story never actually closes. Maybe someone disappeared from your life without explanation. Maybe a relationship, slowly faded and nobody ever said why. Maybe a parent was physically present but emotionally unavailable. Maybe you never got the apology, right? The conversation, or the truth. And your nervous system just keeps doing this, right? Wait, are we done here? Or are we still waiting, right? It's like your brain is standing in a doorway that never fully closes. Now, psychologist Pauline Boss, who pioneered research on ambiguous loss, found that the human brain struggles deeply when there's no clear resolution, because our minds are wired for narrative completion, right? We want the missing page, the final conversation, the moment where things make sense, right? But sometimes healing doesn't come from getting the explanation. Sometimes healing is learning how to live without the explanation, which, by the way, is incredibly unfair, right? Your brain keeps trying to solve a puzzle that's missing half the pieces. If you guys have ever tried to put a fucking puzzle together and you ended up not having all the pieces, how infuriating is that, right? It's the same way when it comes to trying to complete an experience, a thought, a sentence, an emotion, what have you, right? But here's the thing. Over time, the work becomes something different. Instead of asking, why did this happen? You slowly begin asking, how do I carry this and still build a life, right? Ambiguous grief doesn't always resolve neatly. Sometimes it becomes something you learn to hold with gentleness, without letting it hold your life hostage. And if you've ever struggled with that kind of grief, you're not dramatic, love. There's a name for it, right? You're dealing with one of the hardest kinds of loss the human nervous system can face. And that's not a tiny thing, but here is a tiny practice for you. If your mind keeps looping around unanswered questions, just try gently shifting the question from why to what do I need to do now, or what do I need now, right? Sometimes closure, it's not given. Sometimes it's built slowly over time, right? Some grief, my love, it's not about what you lost. It's about the story that never finished. Y'all have a good day.